Well, good morning from Cord Art. Today I'd like to try and make one of these with you. I've done quite a bit of preparation for the tutorial, but you'll have to bear with me with some bits and pieces. This is the original Father Christmas I made, and it was spurred on by buying a packet of 4 Father Christmas heads and thinking, what can I do with them? And I've come up with this idea, which involves a couple of monkey's fists and a few bits and pieces, but I have updated this one slightly, so we'll go through those updates as we go along. But to begin with, we've got to make 2 monkey's fists, a large one and a smaller one. Well, I've made the smaller one already. This was made from a piece of polystyrene, and the piece of polystyrene was an inch in diameter, and on top of that inch diameter I've actually put I used 7 feet of cord, 550 cord, on this jig, and as you can see I've got the larger egg on the jig at the moment. I will be giving all of the dimensions at the end of the tutorial. I'll write them down in the comments. This egg is, let me just make sure, it's 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. That equates to 55mm that way to 45mm that way. And what we're going to stick on there as a monkey's fist is about 17.5 feet of cord. Now we're going to, just going back to the head was quite a basic monkey's fist, and we've got 5, 5 and 5. Yeah, I've shown that on a previous video when I made my fingerlings, so that's its head. What I didn't show was making a monkey's fist on an egg shape. As I say, we're going to use 17.5 feet of cord on this one, so we'll get down to that now. What do we need? We're going to need a pin, just one pin. Most of my pins have been ruined by super glue, so not all of them stick well. So I've got my 17.5 feet of red cord. I'm sure that you've seen this before on other tutorials, but it doesn't harm to actually go through it again. We're going to go round 3 times, like so. I'll give it one more, we'll go 4. Holding that in position, we're then going to secure those so that they don't all spring out with a pin. So that goes up through those 4 threads. Now, how many threads do we need to carry on to? Well, we've got the 4 there. I need 12, but I want my egg to stay in shape and in position. Winding the tool, I'm hopefully going to achieve 12. Now this is quite an exciting time of year with lots of stuff to make for Christmas fairs and what have you, and I've been spending a lot of time making snowflakes, Christmas wreaths, all sorts of stuff. I'm thinking that I might actually go on to making a snowman after this, but we'll have to see. My wife might have different ideas on my time. How many have we got now? Let's just push that pin up a little bit. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I found that with this I do 12, but I could probably get away with 10. But it does give it a nice full body. I think I'm there with the 12 now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, that's good. So then we're going to finish our 12 on that corner where we started. Go back through. Just make sure my jig's nice and tight. And we're going to go back through. How many times is it? I think it's 8. I'll just check on my directions. Yeah, it's 8. So we've come up 12 and now we're going back and we're going to go around 8 times. Now that might be a bit tight on this jig, but it's worth the while for sort of spending a bit of time getting the full 8 in. Again, I could probably do a lot less and still get a reasonable sort of looking body. So I suppose this is the longest part of the project, just making the monkey's fists. But I think I could just about probably do it in my sleep at the moment. I've made so many. So that's 3 over the top. Keep jabbing myself on that pin. I should have concealed it a bit better. It's a fun little project, this one. You can actually adapt it, and that's exactly what I've done with the original. I've now given it a little belt. I've put some buttons on it. On the belt I've got a nice little gold buckle. So you're going to keep adding. It depends on what you want it for. Now I've made Father Christmas to take to the fair, which I'm attending on the 7th of December, which is about a week's time from now. What do you sell it for? You never get the true price of your efforts. Me and my missus have been debating what I can get away with here in England. Her view is people haven't got any money. My view is, well, I put all this effort into it, I should get some sort of return. I said £5, she said £3, so I think we'll end up selling them for £4. Some sort of compromise. Well, they do take quite a while. Now, how many have we got there now? 2, 4, 6. You can see it's getting quite tight on this jig. If I'd put it on a wider setting, it would have made life a lot easier to get the full 8 through. But I make it up as I go along anyway, so I mean I could end up with just 7 on one side and 8 on another. But we'll try for the 8. Right, how many? I think that's still only 7. 4, 7. I think I'm going to leave that at 7. So if we come up to the top, it's all getting a bit jammed. Depends on the setting of where you've set your jig, really. If it allows you to get 8 in or 7. 7 will be fine. It will cover everything. So we'll come up to that top corner there, remove that sharp pin, stick it into that one there. So we can just have a breather while we make sure that everything's where we want it. You can see it's all bunching up because I haven't got it wider. And you can see the holes on top. I can make it wider if I wanted to. It's just a start point, really. So we got 7 going round that way. We're now going to go round the post and down through here. And again, it was supposed to be 8. 7 would suffice. We've got a bit of a kink in that one. There we go. That's got a nice start on this backward motion now. So we go underneath, back up through the cords on the back, up through so. think to keep this tutorial fairly short, I will be jumping about here and there through the video, but hopefully all the information needed will be there. Just fighting that twist at the moment. That's okay. Right, so I click off when I've come to the end and I've taken it off the jig. Well, hi. Yeah, I couldn't achieve another 8 through there. As I say, it's the way that I've set my jig up. But so we got 7. So we got 7 going round that way, 7 going backwards and forwards, and 12 up the length. Now, I believe that we could have got away with 10, maybe 6 and 6, but it wouldn't be quite so full. So I would stay with the dimensions that I first gave, which is 12 upwards, 8 across, and then 8 going through. But that will, what we've done today, it will suffice. So we'll now remove it from the jig. And I'm not going to show the whole process of tightening this up, but just for this bit, we spend a few seconds just making sure that nothing's really overlapping anything else. All a bit loose. We'll take the fit off because it acts as an anchor. We don't want that. Where we started, down here, yeah, I'm going to fold that across the project, like so, and they twirl around that way. I'm going to slowly put them into position, like so. Now I'm going to have to go around this twice to actually achieve the look that I want, right? But what I'm going to do is tighten this up completely, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Well, welcome back. This is where we are after the first tightening. Not too bad at all. We could probably get away with using that as the object. But I'm not quite happy with it. It's got a few soft sort of spots here and there. So we're going to give it another tighten. I just wanted to show you before I tighten this for a second time, and I've shown this on another video. You can see it's a little bit loose here and there. But where I'd like to start tightening up for a second time is different from where we started at the base here before. If you followed those 12 all the way up to the top, you'll see that the last one is this one, and it disappears into this one over this side. So what we're going to do is take note of where it disappears, come back one, and work back down. Now we're only just going to take a little bit of flex out of that. Bring that down. You can see by even the second time round, we've got a good 1/4 of an inch of cord. Now we'll follow that down through, like so, and it will get our shape even better than what we have it already. So I'll take that down to the bottom now, back to this original cord. I'll come back to you. Right, so we're at the bottom. We've come all the way down and we've taken some of the slack out of where we started. You can see that they're quite nice, they fit well, both sides. That's the 12. And as you can see, the egg height, it only covers part of it. It doesn't, when it's tightened up, it doesn't cover from base to top. It's just a good part of it. It's all integral with the knot itself. But what it has done by tightening from here back down has made these looser. And the reason I do this is because after making quite a few of these, if you just go right the way through the egg again, you tend to lose the shape. Because it's a polystyrene ball, it can lose shape. So what the next step is where we saw this disappear into the egg, just there, I know that this one here to the side is that one. So I'm going to give that one a little bit of a tug, and then off we go. So that was there, I'm pulling there, I'll come round to the other side and pull that bit of slack round. Can you see how much slack I've got just in one go? The next one, if I can get hold of it, comes round to there. Now if I carry on right the way through here now, it'll come out the long end and we'll see where we are then. So I'll come back to you then, rather than go right the way through the whole tightening. It does take a time, and I have done quite a few on other videos, so if you're not quite sure, there's plenty of videos to watch. Come back to you shortly. Well, there we go. That's turned out quite well with a double tightening. So we have the 12, the 7 and the 7. I've just cut and melted these. Now I don't like leaving those showing, so I tend to get a pair of scissors and then just push those back into the ball, like so. One might be a bit tight because we've got quite a bit of cord on this ball. There it goes. So there we go. So we have the body and we have the head. I'm just hoping that they're the same coloured reds. This one looks a bit more orange to the top, but I don't think it's going to matter much. I've got a whole tub of different reds here, bits and pieces. This one does look a little bit more sanitary than the body, but when we've finished it won't make much difference. So next step, let's make a joiner to go between the head and the body. Now we need a 2-inch piece of wire, which I've bent. It was just slightly over 2 inches, so that I got enough to bend both ways. Now we want to cover that in cord, which is more than easy. Get a bit of waste red 550, grab hold of those outer or the inner cords, just slide that down through, like so. Put it way in there. Then we're going to cut with just above the wire, so we've got enough to actually melt. So enough there. Melt that one. Nice point. Push the wire up a little bit now. Do the same the other side. Leave yourself enough cord to actually melt that. And there we go, another point. The idea is that we're going to now actually find a decent couple of fids and go down through the centre. Now that causes a bit of an hassle because we now got 7 across here and not the 8. If I had the 8 I'd go in the middle, but not to worry, it would just be biased to one side. So we're going to just part 3 and 4 and possibly just about there in the centre we can make a hole. That's a sharp one. Let's put don't know what's happened to the thicker one. Let's put that one down through. Make the hole substantial, so that can actually go down through there like that and be a joiner. We won't do that just yet, we'll come to that. Again with the head, decide which face you want. They're all 5s, so it's just if you want to get away from a turn or something like that. I'm happy with any, that's fine for me. So if that's the face, I'm going to put a hole. Again, it's 5, so it's going to be slightly biased. Hold down through the cords. like so. I can feel it touching at the top there, so I know that I've got a good inch there. And we'll just splay it out a little bit more. So they're ready to take the joiner. Next step, we need to make the snow or fur effect around the bottom. Now that's a zipper senet knot. It's quite a basic knot, and we need about 6 inches of it, 6 1/4 inches, so it just goes round the base of the Father Christmas, and then we stick it on as a circle. So let's make that zipper senet. Now you're going to need a piece of white cord. I'm not exactly sure how white. Yes, you're going to need 6 1/2 feet of this white. Now how do we tie this quick zipper senet? We halve the 6.5 feet and you end up obviously with about 3 feet of doubled cord. Let's grab hold of that bend, grab it there, here. Get the right hand one, just do a loop backwards, like so. Put it over the top of that other cord, like so. Just bring it through. Now you've lassoed, or you've knotted your own cord, if you like. So we've got one that does a slip knot, that's the tightener, and this one which is static. Now the idea is that we use the static one, we bring the static one up, so we get the static one which you can't pull to the right hand side, bring it up through behind the loop and just make that loop. Can you see that? Once that's in, we just pull down the lasso or the slip knot. We don't want this loop here, so we're going to pull that bottom end there. Once we've pulled that bottom end, we'll pull our slip knot again. Now we've made another slip knot. So again, with the standing end, or this taut end, we're going to make another loop, go behind the loop and up through. Holding it in position, we now loop it down tight, like so. Doesn't look much to begin with. Again, we want to pull the slack out of the bottom of that loop. That's the moving one. This one, we want to pull the slack out. Again, the standing end, up through, behind and up through. And I'm going to come back to you when I've done about 6 inches of this knot. You'll see that by the time we get to about that distance, it starts to take shape. Not that one. So we want to pull on that one and down on that one. I'll come back to you when we're about to 6 inches. Right, there you go. Almost at 6 inches. Just getting over a shock actually, because I thought I'd check out what I've filmed so far. And there was no sound. I thought, oh no, I've done all this work and I need to have sound with it. Then I realised that I got my earphones plugged in on Blu-ray, so yeah, got rid of that and got my sound back. Anyway, back to the project. We're just about 6 inches there. Where's my tape measure? We've just about got 6 inches. We're just below 6 inches. We're going to do one more. So loop up from the left, up through, and pull down. And tighten. Now to finish this off, the one on the right hand side, we're just going to tuck through around the back, up through. Don't want to go through, like so. just treat it as a loop really. Pull down tight. Yeah. We should have our length. Now we want to join this one to this end, so we're not going to cut that one off. We're going to cut the one that's facing downwards slightly off, which is a shame because I've just faced up that end. I thought it would be that end that would be joining. Not to worry. So we'll give that bit of heat there. Now the idea is to actually thread this back through the beginning. So the end's messed up a little bit now, so what we'll do is we'll give it a better end. Get that one fairly hot, I want it quite thin. Bring it down to almost nothing, if it will. I was hoping to get one of these micro fids on. Perhaps I won't be successful. I have to use a normal fid. Let's see, no. Let's go back to a normal fid. And the idea is that we pick a place to actually go through. We should be about there. Push that down through. And that gives us our little circle. I'll just try. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. It's a bit big, a bit big. No, that's fine if I keep it nice and tight. So what we're going to do is actually cut that off, melt it over. And then this piece, I must admit with the others I've actually touched that on with these with a touch of super glue where they actually join. So we'll do that. We'll keep to tradition. Just let them join together for a second. Whilst they're joining, what do we think about now? Yeah, next stage. We need to make yet another one of these sort of things to go around the back of him. Yeah, but we're going to do that in 2mm cord. And what I've updated to is rather than having two small pieces, I'm having one piece that goes round the back and up to like a cape. So, and that turns out to be about 6 inches all the way round. So I'll be doing another one in this 2mm white cord, and that's 6 feet. Much similar to, we'd be doing the same as this one. Let's play around with this first. Get rid of the fid and the end. Now obviously we've got a sharp end with the hole in ready for the head to go in. So this one's going to go down the bottom. All we're going to do is get the join to the back. Get it looking just about right. And just a dab of super glue at the prone points. And hopefully it'll stay where it's supposed to. Right. That takes a little while to stick. So we'll leave that. Came off then. We'll leave that to dry, just like so. Have a quick sip of coffee, which my wonderful wife has just brought me. So yeah, I'm going to do another 6-inch piece of 2mm weave like we did before with this 2mm. The zipper Senate knot. So we hold the loop, yeah, get hold of the right hand side, bend back, so we've got a loop, put it over the other other side, and just bring that through. Tighten your knot up, like so. As we said, one of them will pull backwards and forwards, being this one. So let's take the left hand side one, make another loop, like so, bring it through, down, tighten up that bit, not this bit, this is the moving part, tighten that bit up. Now that's the beginning, and I've got to do about 6 inches. So again, I'll come back to you when I've done those 6 inches. Thanks. So here we are. I've done 6 inches of this zipper zenit. Just wanted to show you how to finish it off. We just pulled that loop through. Now we're going to finish it off by just coming up through the loop, restricting that by pulling down the other one. Now we're not going to use this for joining. We don't need to make a loop, so we'll just cut those two off. Seal them. And the idea is that we now get the right fascia. That's the front. The joiner of the base is at the back. So we're going to start here. We're just going to go to that corner where the join is. Stick a pin in there. Bring it round the back to that corner. And then the idea is that we bring it up like so. Stick another pin in there so you can see what I'm about. So we have a cape. I think it looks quite good like that. Now we've got to obviously attach this now to the body. I'm going to use a bit of super glue, but what I want to try and not do is put any super glue along this edge here and that edge there, because its arms are going to just tuck underneath there. So we can go to the back. I'm pulling down on these two loops. Get it into the position that you want it. Try not to super glue your pins in. It's a devil to get them out if you super glue a pin in. I've done it quite a few times. Right, now I don't want to go any closer to that point there. I'll put a dab on the top, just away from the pin. Dab on the top there, away from the pin. And this can all be fortified a little bit later, if need be. So we're going to leave that to dry, just like so. And we're going to start making an arm and a hand. Now you can see he's got a little thumb up there. This is his arm. Just show you it on the model itself, like so. Yeah, and can you see it just tucks underneath the white? How do we make this? Quite easily, actually. What we need is a bit of waste red. That bit will do. Bit of waste red. We need some of this 2mm red to do the knot down the arm, and the size of that, didn't really say. Let me just measure that. I know that this is the right length. A pre-prepared one. So we've got a foot of 2mm red, and a bit of old rough wastage red. So we're going to fold that in half, so we've got a nice loop facing upwards. We're going to, probably this end has been melted in the past, we're going to just tuck that between there like so. Yeah, hopefully that's seeable. Then what I'm going to do is melt that to a point where it's just about to catch on fire but doesn't. Push the loop over the top of it, and in doing so you might endanger burning your fingers, but if you time it just right, it's not too bad. So we've got the thick part stuck inside the thin part now to one degree or another, and then what we're going to do is tie the cobra around this piece of cord. So we've got that one over there, and then up under, simple cobra. And it's all important on getting this first one tight without losing the end. Getting there, you can see. I think we can do a little bit better. I think that's good enough. Right, so the one that's coming out underneath the cord, we'll do a second cobra knot. We need to do about 5 cobras along here. Nice and tight. Cobra back along here. So that's about 3. One more and we'll check the length against the model, or the one that we've just made actually, because I made one previously, didn't I? I think we need one more knot there. Do one more. So we've got even length arms. Right. So that's where we are. Oops. Bit high there. So that's where we are with that one. Yeah. So we'll trim them off. All 3 of those can be cut off, like so. Melt that one down. Bit black. Burner's a bit high. That's okay. Oh, still looks a little bit in need there. Something covers those white spots in a minute anyway. So that's the arm. What do we need to do to make his hand? We need another, say a foot of black 2mm cord. Tie a quick stopper knot. Like so. I will show it. I haven't showed a stopper knot on here yet, have I? No, stopper knot, 12-inch piece of cord, put it through the fingers. The bottom one, bring around the thumb, twist, place it on the vertical, bring that vertical up slightly, so we've got a nice loop in there. Bring the vertical around the back of this one, through the loop, to get our diamond. There's our diamond. Bring this around the standing end and up through the centre. Bring this one round the other standing end at the base here, up through the centre. Coax it into position. It's I like to give that a good old roll, and then most of the loops will hopefully come out as we pull down tight. Okay, I'm left with one left behind. Let's get rid of that one for the moment. Right, so there's our knot. We want to get rid of that loop. Well, we want to diminish it so we've got a little thumb on the end. So if we bring that up through the knot, find the right one, just leave ourselves a tiny little thumb on the end, like so. I've got a feeling I'm far too high for most of this, so let's get back into shot. So I've just left that little bit of loop on the bottom. Now I'm taking the rest of the loop through the knot. Do apologise if I was out of shot for the last couple of minutes. Right, so that's our little hand. It's got a cute little thumb on the end. Let's cut that off. Seems a waste, doesn't it? All that foot of cord just for a little knot. But you need to have the cord to manoeuvre it. Now, I don't think I'm going to actually melt that one because I want that to stick. I know that when I stick it onto there, I want to have a good sound stick. So let's stick those together now. Might take a little bit of time for it to actually take. So, bit of super glue on there. As I say, I didn't melt that one because I wanted it to stick. Glue those two together. Probably got to hold that for a second or two. This is a fun little project. I make it sound a bit stressful because I'm stress making videos because doesn't come natural to me anyway. But in your own little den with the knowledge, and that's what really I'm doing, is giving the knowledge. I'm not trying to sell myself an item or indeed the film. It's just an idea. So we've got our hand stuck onto the arm now, which is good. We're going to go to the inner side of the arm, and with a bit of waste 2mm white, we're going to give him a white sleeve. The idea is to wrap that around like so. Give it a donk of super glue here and there. Without sticking to it. And then cut off the excess, like so. And that gives us another little arm. Right, let's fit those arms. I think that's the one we just made, so he might be a little bit wet still. Yeah, so we can now remove those pins that we had stuck around its collar. 1, 2, and 3. That looks the part. Nice little cape. And as I say, I didn't want to glue this bit too rigidly because I wanted to just bring that hand or that arm just underneath like so. Hold it in position and then give it a helping hand just there. And you see, he's looking quite good. Hand's not bad at all actually. Probably have to fortify some of this around a bit as well. Once it's stuck, but it's just getting it stuck. I think I can let that one go and come round to the other side. And it's the same with everything. It's a matter of trying to get things square and equal. Yeah, I think that one's just caught now. So, with my big hands, I'm trying to just stick that underneath so you can't see the end of it without having a bit of trouble here. Hands are too big. That's it. That's got it. Just about so. And we'll give it some liquid assistance. Notice this back bit's coming undone still. Now the idea is not to stick to all of this. That's not too bad. Now, I've done a little bit of an update on this one. I want to give him a belt. He hasn't got a belt. He's got 2 pockets, but I want to give him a belt and 2 pockets and a nice gold buckle. So what I've done here is I've gutted a piece of black. Now that piece of black is, again, it's about 6.5 inches. I'd like to start at the front there, where his belt would be. I think I'll stick a pin in there, just like so. Bring that round the back. Could have actually gone on before. That's not too bad. And bring it back round. As I say, that's 6.25 inches, just about does it. Looks as though it's up. Well, no, that's okay. It makes him look as though he's got a bit of a pot belly if it's going upwards. We'll just get it to stay in position. A lot of super glue in this one. There we go. Don't think I can take my pin out just yet. But what I'm trying to do is actually get to a position where I can stick this piece of gold just here. so. Get rid of that pin. I'm hoping that the glue that I put on there will also glue this. It's possible. So there you go. So he's now got a belt and a buckle. We're doing well, we're nearly there. So let's join the head to the body. Probably have to revisit this fit into the hole again. Come on. Nope. There's a cord gone across the hole. There we go. That should go in now. So we'll now put our joiner into the hole if possible. Yep, there it goes. And then down into the hole, like so. I want that as a face with the cords going across that way. So I'm squashing from the base to the top of the head now. And we're going to just make sure that everything's where we want it. Bit of force here and there. And glue his head on. Like so. Mustn't forget his pockets. Whilst his head is drying, we'll give him some pockets. I'll stick that one in there and that one in that pocket. Let's see if we can get those attached. So just below the belt line. Bit awkward to muck around with. There he is. Don't glue your pin in. One. Two. So. So what we got left? We've got, he needs some buttons down the front, which I tend to just touch on with a paintbrush. And of course, his face. If we can get him out the plastic. As I say, just a sticky pack Father Christmas face. We want to just about have the beard touching his chest, like so. Of course, the sticky helps because it's on there. But what I like to do is take the hair round to the side, just with a touch of super glue. So, just do side at a time. So there's that one. Touch on this side. Without sticking to it. He's starting to look the part now. It really is. Right. Let's just give him his buttons. Bit of black acrylic. two on his chest. And yeah, we can give him 2 down below. On the others I've done, there's not been the space and it's just been 1 button, but that looks good. So there we are. That's about him finished. As I say, it's a fun little project. Takes a bit of time, quite a lot involved, although there's only 3 knots, so you've got a couple of monkey's knots. This knot is the same as that knot, and you've got the stopper knot and his arms, but there's only 3-4 knots all told. But so he can go next to him. Hope that's in shot. Well, let's bring it forward. Let's get rid of a few things. He can come forward. He can come forward. And it's a bit of a convention because he can come forward and so can he. Have we got all 4 of them? Let's shuffle along a little bit. Come on, line up, military style. So there you are, 4 of them made. He's slightly different. He didn't have a belt. Can't do anything about that. But anyway, I hope I've given you an idea on how to make a Father Christmas. All the best to you. See you shortly.